Hey everyone, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today is Thursday, June 8th. Hope you're well. And in today's video, got a little bit of a different style video for you today. Going to be discussing my goal before Ripple is set to IPO. We know that they've already expressed plans to do so after the SEC lawsuit ends. Before we get to it though, and before I get into my game plan, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. Getting close to that 500,000 view mark on the channel. So first and foremost, thanks very much to the community who have supported me along the way. That was definitely not easy, and I really do appreciate it. But as we know, crypto firm Ripple will explore IPO after the SEC lawsuit ends, said the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. This was an article from, it's not new by any means, but I just wanted to remind everybody that the case could be over any day now, any week, any month, could be another year, could be another 2 years, we don't know. But my goal is to become an accredited investor here before the end of the year, if not 2024 at the latest. We know that they could potentially IPO within the next year or so. So again, my goal is going to become an accredited investor. And if you don't know what an accredited investor is, basically the government thinks we're too stupid to invest in startups or risky businesses, right? Yet we can go to the casino, we can, we can mortgage our house and spend all our money at the casino, no questions asked, but we can't invest in startups. How ludicrous is that? But essentially, what is an accredited investor in Canada? It's different in the US, so you'll have to look up speak to your financial advisor, speak to your, whoever you normally speak to with regards to financial assets, and then look up the investor definition in the US. But here in Canada, because I'm Canadian, net assets should exceed 5 million or income more than 200,000 per year, or a joint salary of 300,000, or financial assets $1 million alone or jointly with a spouse. So I'm about 50% of the way there to hitting accredited investor status. So again, that's my goal here before the end of the year, if not hopefully by the end of 2024 at the latest. And we know that the SEC is adopting changes to accredited investor definition. There's been some talk about whether the SEC will drop that completely and then just allow some sort of test where people can take a test and then become accredited, because everybody should have access, right? Shouldn't be only limited to people with $1 million. Basically the rich get richer, right? And it's insane, right? We can go to the casino, we can gamble our life away, and we know that the odds there are not in our favor, but we can invest in Twitter as a startup, or Airbnb, or Ripple, which I think Ripple is probably going to be the biggest company in the world and the biggest company in history in terms of valuation. I think this company could easily make it into the $5 to $10 trillion mark, maybe even higher than that over the next 10, 20 years. Maybe even sooner than that. We know that the use case that they're tackling right now is cross-border payments and basically the tokenization of everything. And this is a company that's really at the forefront of the new financial system. But you can see here, Link2 is a platform. By no means is this sponsored. I'm not getting paid I'm not getting paid anything from this company. This is just a platform that I'm aware of and then going to be using to purchase Ripple, like I said, hopefully before the end of the year, if not sometime in 2024, hopefully before the IPO. But you can see here they've got Uphold. That's my favorite exchange as well. If you're wondering where you can buy XRP, the digital asset, or Flare token, you can check out the description in the link in the description below. That's my favorite exchange, Uphold. I've been using it. I can vouch for it. They've kept XRP on their platform even through this SEC lawsuit. So I think they have a lot of great things going on for them, and like I said, really appreciate and respect the fact that there was no legal precedent for them to delist it, so they kept it, right, until the courts decide something, then they would delist it, right? But PolySign's also on there, a type of custody, and a ton of other assets as well. You can check out Link2, and like I said, if you're not accredited, look in your jurisdiction to what you need to do. It's different in every jurisdiction, but look in your region, see what you need to do to become accredited. And then, like I said, Link2 is a great platform that you can use. Again, by no means is this sponsored. But like I said, Ripple is the private centralized company. Ripple is a company that was created after XRP, and you can buy Ripple equity, private shares in Ripple. Those shares that you buy on Link2 are private equity. They are securities. If Ripple goes away, Ripple shares go away. XRP, the decentralized virtual currency, was created before Ripple, and it is not a security. The underlying asset, maybe the way Ripple packaged it in the beginning was a security, right? Maybe they get a slap on the wrist, a fine, $100 million, $200 million fine for the early sales of XRP. But the underlying asset, XRP, if Ripple goes away, XRP continues to trade. Look at the library case with the LBC token. They said secondary market sales basically are not securities, and LBC library actual company went bankrupt, but the LBC token continues to trade on, right? So obviously it's not a security. Security of what? right? And when you buy Ripple shares, you get governing rights, right? So if there's a decision that needs to be made and they need to reach out to the public, you have a say based on how many shares you have. You have governance rights. You can make a decision, just like any stock or anything like that. If any kind of major change, they send out a proxy, they send out a vote, and shareholders vote. But if Ripple goes away, Ripple stock goes away. But you get governance. It's a security of Ripple. XRP, the virtual digital asset, is a decentralized virtual currency that you have no governance rights. Ripple could go away, and XRP continues to trade. And there's many jurisdictions around the world who have considered XRP to not be a security, right? It's a commodity, right? Virtual currency, whatever you want to say. But Hinman documents will likely be released by June 13th, which is next Tuesday. So next week is going to be a big, big week. We will potentially get the Hinman emails, right, which is exposing the SEC. They said that in the infamous speech that, Ether is not a security, and that they didn't mention anything of Ripple. And then in these emails, we could potentially see, XRP, they didn't mention anything about that. But in this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, these emails could be exposed, and there could be something in there about XRP, whether or not, the SEC wasn't, there was tons of drafts of this speech. Maybe XRP was listed there by SEC officials who said, we're not sure if it's a security or not. So that plays to the fair notice defense. How can they be unsure and then Ripple be sure, right? You should have known that this was a security, right? It just doesn't make any sense. But then we also have the Fed interest rate decision from FOMC at 2 o'clock Eastern time on June 14th. So back to back, we could we see a settlement before then and the documents become unsealed? That's remain sealed, sorry. That's possible, but from what I'm looking into with all the legal experts and counsel that I've been reaching out to and researching, it looks like they're going to be unsealed no matter what. And that'll be on Tuesday. There's also a hearing in Congress, and it's going to be coming out at the same time. So this is going to be a big, big week next week. And then we could potentially see the Fed pause interest rates, would be huge for the market. And as we know, I did a video on the S&P 500, and it's actually targeting, it was a bull flag on the weekly time frame targeting 439. We hit 430. So we're only about a little over 2% away from that target. And like I said, I think we could see the Fed potentially pause this week coming, and then that would be huge. Hinman documents will be damning more than likely. Brad Garlinghouse and the Ripple team have said that what's in these emails, they've already seen them, right? So did the judge. But they've already said that what's in here will shock the public. And as we know, the SEC is a corrupt scumbag agency that just needs to be reined in, right? And they need to be held accountable for what's going on. But speaking of the SEC and their corruptness, SEC sues Binance and Coinbase. They allowed Coinbase to IPO. Gary Gensler, Goldman Gensler, who used to work for Goldman Sachs, he was trying to work at Binance, right? So now he taught crypto at MIT, and now he's taking the incumbents approach, right? He's playing for the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, all those traditional finance companies, and he's helping them, right? He's trying to slow down the industry, not completely squash it, but slow it down so that they can get positioned. And it just goes to show how corrupt it is. They allowed Coinbase to IPO. They allowed the MoneyGram and Ripple partnership when they knew they were using XRP. They allowed Coinbase to list XRP. They didn't come after XRP or Ripple for 8 years, right? It traded for 8 years in the open market, almost a decade. And then Binance, he tried to work there. So the corruption is, you can smell it from a mile away. And it's just a matter of time. We know Tesla, they said if they didn't bend the knee that they would bankrupt Tesla. They bankrupt Library. And even Elon Musk says he does not respect the SEC. And everybody knows that the SEC is out to lunch and they're just a corrupt scumbag regulator. And, it's just a matter of time before they get reined in. But if we take a look at the XRP chart here, we have the low, high, higher low, and higher high. We're now back in a monthly uptrend, which is the first time in many years, and we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well. We're extremely bullish here above the 10-week moving average. We have a massive parabolic move here in the stochastic. It is bullish, and the MACD is bullish, blasting off here as well. And the only thing nearby that we have is the 100 weekly at 61 cents. USD. After that, we have virtually no resistance. We're above all of the daily moving averages as well, and we had a golden cross that occurred already back here a few months ago. It was back in November of 2022. Actually quite a while ago. But as you can see, the last time we had a golden cross, price was at around 20 cents and then went all the way up to about $2. Then we had the death cross with the shorter term 50-day moving average above the 200. When they crossed, that's a death cross. Then when that crossed, price was at around 62 cents, went all the way down to 27 cents. Now we're seeing the opposite with the shorter term 50-day moving average below the 200 crossing. Could this be the cusp of something great? And like I said, in my opinion, I think we could see a potential settlement. Maybe we get the summary judgment from the judge as early as this month. That's what I'm expecting potentially. And then we could see a post-judgment settlement. That's entirely possible as well. We could see a split the baby approach where, Ripple could win, SEC could win, very low probability of that in my opinion, or they split the baby, right? Ripple pays a fine, but the underlying asset XRP, right, is not a security. So my favorite digital asset, and my goal is going to become accredited before Ripple plans its IPO, because as we know, when Coinbase IPO'd, the potential there for gains really diminished, right? Once it's hitting the free open market to the public, generally it goes down a substantial amount, right? You kind of miss that multiplier effect, but then you'll have a chance to buy in lower, but then you got to wait a long time, right? So the IPO is a good way to get in before that massive hype, and that's going to be my goal here hopefully before the end of the year, if not at the latest 2024. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. We'll continue the conversation there. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Powell Group. Smash the like, share the video with anybody that might find value, and we'll see you on the next video. Next week's a big week. Get ready.